Very exciting news today because the second part of Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting has finally released on D&D Beyond. I would not class that as early March, but it did say in the content roadmap it was subject to change, so I guess the subject changed. It doesn't matter anyway. As of this point, we now have access to the full book outside of the Tamer class, which I am honestly quite upset about not getting. Quite upset's pushing it. About not getting. I'd rather have gotten it. But what we have in the second book is still really interesting, and I am here, as ever, to help you decide if you should buy it. So we're going to go over the subclass, have a little look at the species options, some of the magic items and the spells, and then just go over what else is in the book, really. So come with me. Come on. Having a look at the overall contents here, you can see that we've got a fair amount of stuff going on. In general, the introduction goes over how you would generally run the book. Harvesting rules are very much the same as they are in the first part, but there are some new items you can make in this book. You've also got lots of the cooking stuff again, and then you've got the hunts as well. There are 5 hunts here. The Shining Shrine, the Veiled Lady, A Tale of Two Tales, Mecha Kobold Zilla, and Archaeology, which is about a Tarask, which is, funny. Bunch of new creatures as well, which is super cool. And you've even got some safety tools, which is sick. Big fan of that being in the book in general. But let's go over these subclasses, shall we? We're getting 5 in this book, and I've read through them, and I think they're pretty cool. It has to be said. Also, they fixed Hunter's Mark, just not for the Ranger, but we'll get to that. It does state in the intro here that a lot of these, two of the classes specifically, the harvesting and cooking rules apply to the College of Cuisine, and the biomancy rules apply to both the Parasite warlock and the Skinshifter sorcerer. So they are not necessarily welcome in every setting. You might need to do a little bit of work, but I think it's probably worth it. With that in mind, let's go over stuff. The College of Cuisine here, shown off with this wonderful axolotl dude. Food. It fuels thought, builds bone, and delights the senses, but more than that, breaking bread with a foe can be the beginning of a lasting peace. Sculptures of sugar glass can inspire architects to design soaring cities, and the fusion of disparate culinary traditions can tie cultures together. Though we see food every day, it is truly the epitome of inspiration. Arts from the College of Cuisine are prized in the kitchens of nobles as they are in the mess halls of the rank and file. While peace treaties might be signed over hoisin glazed duck with sides of spiced jackfruit and crispy shallots, it is the well-fed army that will win the war on a hearty oat and raisin porridge. I'm hungry. This makes me hungry. Such bards never struggle to find employment. They travel where their work is appreciated, be their diners highborn or down to earth. Worth noting, as well at this point, all of these classes work with both the 2014 and the 2024 rules. They are actually designed for the 2014 classes, but for 5.5e players, you can use these in the character creator, which is handy. At 3rd level, we get Culinary Exploration. This basically gives you proficiency with cook's utensils, which you can use as a spell casting focus, and allows you to do better at cooking, specifically crafting the food that you can make in the Heliana's Guide. So I would recommend looking at those rules if you're going to be playing this in a campaign outside of a Heliana setting, and talking to your DM about how you could implement cooking rules there, if that's what you want to do. If even without that, though, I do think you're getting a fair amount of good stuff in the class anyway. So you get Petit Four, sorry to Trek, and anyway, those are the 3 French people. I don't know if I'm really tired or if I slept okay. I know I didn't sleep okay, but I feel okay. It'll wear off, probably. Anyway, during a short or long rest, you get to create a magical treats equal to your charisma modifier with a minimum of 1, and you can choose one of the flavors at your disposal to in them. A creature can then use a bonus action to eat one of these treats, and they gain the bonus it grants until the end of its next turn, unless it states otherwise. You can also, as a bonus action, expend a bonus bardic inspiration to teleport the treats in front of creatures' mouths, any number of them, and then the creature can use their reaction to eat it. If you choose bitter, the creature gains resistance to poison damage and gets advantage on throws to resist the poison condition. Salty gives advantage on wisdom saving throws and immunity to the charmed condition. Sour gives extra bonus acid damage equal to a roll of your bardic inspiration die on every single weapon attack. Now that lasts for a turn. If you've got a fighter or a monk or something, that's potentially a lot of extra damage, so that's a pretty solid choice. Sweet gives you temporary health equal to 1 roll of the bardic inspiration die plus your charisma modifier, which lasts for an hour, and umami gives a +2 bonus to its AC, which is not bad. I think these are fun. I don't think it's an especially powerful feature. You need to kind of work alongside that. Something like a +2 bonus to your AC is nice for a turn, for sure, but it's obviously not as good as something like shield. Still, the fact that you can make everyone eat one of these as their reaction, so they get the full benefit of it for their next turn, is pretty cool. But also, technically, you get 2 turns of this if you eat it as a bonus action before doing your action on your actual turn. So there's pros and cons. Level 6, you get culinary specialization. You get to choose one of these particular styles of cuisine, which informs the way that you will be playing the class from then on. If you choose slow cooking, you get proficiency with medium and heavy armor, as well as shields and martial weapons. And at the start of each of your turns, you gain temp health equal to your proficiency bonus. This is the tank one. It's a really strong tank. There's no action to get that temp health. You just always stacked on temp health. And if you're going to be tanking, that's a very good thing. Fast food gives you proficiency with medium armor and lets you attack twice instead of once when you take the attack action. So this is the more aggro one. And then patissier, you get to learn 2 spells of your choice from any spell list. You must be able to cast it as you can, doesn't count against the number of bard spells, blah, blah, blah. Probably most importantly, as useful as that is, you can, when you finish a short rest, you can expend a bardic inspiration die, rolling the dice to recover a number of spell slots equal to the combined value of the number rolled. So if you roll a 6 on your bardic inspiration die, you could regain a level 3, a level 2, and a level 1 spell slot, for example, or 2 level 3 spell slots. That's really strong. I think my natural inclination here would be to go for the patissier route, but slow cooking seems really, really solid. And it is nice, I think, to be able to take this class in a more martial way if that's what you want to do with it. It allows multiple different paths of building it, and I dig it. And then Executive Chef at level 14. When a creature that can hear you rolls one of your bardic inspiration die or eats one of your petit four, you can shout authoritative verbal encouragement, no action required, on your end. They can then take their reaction to either make a weapon attack or move up to half its speed without provoking an opportunity attack. The creature that eats a petit four can attack or move as described as part of the same reaction, action, or bonus action used to eat the petit four. So if you use your bardic inspiration guide to get everyone to do that, they can not only eat the petit four, but they can also take this extra action as well as part of the same reaction, which is solid. This is a really interesting subclass. I think obviously if you're using the cooking rules from Heliana's and you're giving out other buffs on top of these ones, this is probably a really, really solid class, but the flavor is undeniable. And I think it's getting some relatively potent abilities. The ability to regain spell slots is something that a lot of full casters would love to be able to do more comfortably. And if you're lucky, high end of the game, you could get a combined total of 12, right, because of the D12 bardic die. So yeah, I think this is a pretty cool support one. Next up, we have the Hunt Domain Cleric. Please witness this incredible artwork. Absolutely stunning artwork. From Artemis to Diana, Skadi, and Woden, all gods of the hunt relish the chase. They promote the ideals of a journey, finding a quarry, learning its habits, and finishing it with a swift, precise blow. Clerics of these gods might bless nobles before a hunt, work as mercenaries tracking dangerous monsters through the wilderness, or be employed as scouts within armies. They are adept at finding their prey, and once located, use their magic to ensure they are never outrun. Such priests teach that all useful materials must be harvested and consumed to properly honour a quarry and to ensure the god's blessing during the next foray into the wilds. It's cool. I really do think the concept here is awesome. There are gods of the hunt, or gods that could be deemed of the hunt in normal D&D pantheons, and I think having a domain dedicated to them is wonderful. Anything at level 1 here, you'll get at level 3 and 5.5. Obviously, your domain spell list is very much showing off that you are a ranger-themed cleric. You get Entangle, Longstrider, Locate Animals or Plants, Pass Without Trace, Conjure Animals, Haste, Freedom of Movement, Locate Creature, Commune with Nature, and Hold Monster. All solid spells, I think. And obviously you're getting these earlier than rangers get them as well, so that's nice. You get proficiency with 2 martial weapons of your choice, thanks to bonus proficiencies, and also proficiency in animal handling, nature, or survival. The big feature at level 1, though, is the Mark Prey feature. As a bonus action, you can choose a creature you can see within 90 feet and mystically mark it as your quarry for the next hour. For the duration, you deal an extra 1d6 damage to the target when you hit it with a weapon attack, and you have advantage on any perception or survival check you make to find it. If you use this feature to mark a new creature, any previous mark disappears. This is Hunter's Mark, but cooler. This is the cooler Hunter's Mark, which is, nice. You're not getting extra attack with this class, and it does have to be with weapon attacks as well. It specifies weapon attacks. But, you could multi-class. A little bit of multi-classing. Ranger in this would be super cool. I'm here for it, but Monk in this could be fun. It says weapon attack. You can use weapons as a monk anyway, so, that's kind of cool. Anyway, level 2, you get your Channel Divinity, Honed Instincts. You can use your Channel Divinity to gain preternatural insights into one creature you can see within 120 feet of you. No action required. You can choose to either learn its proficiencies or its physiology, which is basically resistances, immunities, and so on. In addition, the next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack, within the next minute, you deal the attack's maximum damage instead of rolling. Great if you can guarantee a crit. Level 6, you get Pack Hunter. You learn to work with other hunters, helping them avoid your quarry's blows or to strike with greater ferocity. As a reaction, you can embolden friendly creatures to you with your hunter's instincts, issuing either the kill or retreat command. You have a number of uses of this equal to your wisdom modifier and regain all uses on a short or long rest. Kill. When a creature other than you hits a target, which is currently affected by your mark prey feature, you can use the reaction to deal the extra damage to the creature, which is solid. Gets more solid at level 8 as well, but obviously we'll get to that in a minute. Or retreat. When the target of your mark prey feature targets a creature you can see within 60 feet of you, you can use a reaction to embolden the creature to allow them to move up to half their speed using their reaction without provoking an opportunity attack before the attack occurs, potentially causing the attack to miss if the creature moves out of the attacker's reach or range. Both cool features. When I said they fixed Hunter's Mark, it is the level 8 feature here that I am talking about, because at level 8, the Hunter's Mark damage, your Mark Prey damage goes up to 2d6, and at level 14 it goes up to 3d6. And I think if Hunter's Mark scaled like that, and then also became a d10 at level 20, I think players would be pretty happy with it, honestly. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. I think this is sick. Also, you can get the full benefit from that and still take 5 levels of Ranger. I'd be really tempted to do that, because 3 extra d6, and technically you can stack this with Hunter's Mark too. So that's pretty enticing, right? I think. Anyway, level 17, the capstone feature of this subclass is Rite of the Hunt. Oh, there's so many words in these subclasses. I'm not even at the wordy one yet. The wordy one is the next one. So, as a bonus action, while you can see the target of your mark prey feature and is within 120 feet, you can force that creature to make a wisdom save against your cleric spell save DC. On a failure, you can afflict it with chase or avoid, and it can repeat the save at each of the end of its turns. Ending on a success, the effects are suppressed when you can't see the creature, and if it succeeds, it's immune for 24 hours. Chase, the creature is constantly drawn to you. It has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you, and must make a wisdom save the first time it attempts to move to a space that is more than 30 feet away from you. Failed save, it can't move more than 30 feet away from you on that turn. On a success, the effect doesn't restrict the movement for that turn. And avoid, the creature is repelled by you for the duration. It has disadvantage on attack rolls against you and must make a wisdom save when it tries to move within your range. I like this feature. It's interesting. I don't think it's that powerful as a level 17 feature. It's very much like boss focused, really, which isn't a bad thing. You're still a cleric on top of all of this, so you can still be chucking out healing words and stuff. I like this. I like the subclass. I think it's a shame it doesn't get extra attack or a bonus action attack like the war cleric does. It does feel a little peculiar. But then you could potentially, if you're going, let's say you're going for a strength cleric, right? You're using a greatsword, you could be doing 5d6 on one hit, which is not a bad amount of damage, especially if you can also add in other things to that. So it's cool. And again, I think the unflinching mark feature might just be the fix for the Hunter's Mark people want, honestly. If you chuck that on top of, if you chuck the damage, the level breakpoint damage boosts that this presents on top of the extra d10 you get, the change to a d10 you get at level 20, I think you're seeing a lot bigger boost. So the damage difference between a d6 and a d10 is only 2 points on average per dice rolled. So on one hit, a d6 is just 3.5 to 5.5. If you're rolling 3d6 and 3d10, that's obviously 6 points of damage instead, and that's per hit, which makes it a lot more appealing. So yeah, consider that if you want to fix your rangers, I guess. On the subject of rangers, though, through careful preparation, trappers can create both physical and magical traps to ensnare, explode, or enrapture those unlucky enough to find themselves in the vicinity. Trappers are found in all terrains where there are creatures to be hunted. With tact and guile as their companions, a trapper can lay low even the mightiest of prized beasts. There is a bit of crossover between this and the Trapper Guild Monster Hunter. Not a huge shock, but one is a ranger and one is a monster hunter. So it's good to have the options. I'm never upset about more options. I guess it depends how bad the options are. If all the options are bad, I'd be upset about more options, but generally speaking. Anyway, level 3, you get Trapper's Tools. Having learnt to create traps, you've gained an understanding of how to thwart traps of others. You gain proficiency with Thieves' Tools and add double your proficiency bonus to any ability check you make, using those to disarm or manipulate a trap. You get trapped weapons at level 3 as well. Basically, you can augment a weapon or up to 20 pieces of ammunition that deals either extra acid, cold, fire, or lightning damage, which lasts until you finish a short or long rest. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack using the augmented weapon or ammunition, you can deal an extra 1d8 of damage. And at level 11, not only can you augment another item, but the damage goes up to 2d8 as well, which is cool. So yeah, I like that a lot. Nice and easy. We know what that's doing, right? Instead of a spell list, here you get Trapper Traps. You get loads of these. I'm not going to read every single one of these. There's just too many words, and you'll see what I mean as we go through this class. But basically, at each level, you get access to more traps. Some of these are physical, some of them are magical. Physical traps take an hour to make, which you can do during a short or long rest, and consumes gold to make. After a physical trap activated, the trap is consumed and you can salvage half of the materials made, basically, if it hasn't activated. So that's cool. Magical traps are, after a long rest, you can create magical traps up to your wisdom modifier. Some of these require you to expend a spell slot. And while physical traps have specific activation types, you can actually choose to set different parameters for your magical traps, which is funky. And you can also activate them on purpose as long as you're within 150 feet of them, using either an action or bonus action. Nope, action or reaction. Nope, bonus action or reaction. We got there in the end. It also explains how you can deploy them, how you can disarm them, and the different trap effects. Level 7, you get Tracker. You're an expert at detecting and obscuring tracks. When you make an ability check to find or follow tracks, you can add your proficiency bonus to the result of the check, even if you aren't proficient in the relevant skill, which is nice. Trapper's Avoidance, also at level 7. The merest hiss of escaping air, depression of a tile, and scent of the ozone is all the warning you need to avoid traps' effects. When you're subjected to traps' activation effect that allows you to make a saving throw to take only half damage, it's evasion, but for traps. Yeah, basically. Level 11, you get Leaving a Trace. You can hide your traps. You can expend a spell slot of first level or higher to disguise the trap with illusion magic, causing it to become invisible the moment it leaves your hands. You also learn the invisibility spell, which is nice. Level 15, you get Booby Trap. You trap your own body against unexpected demise. You can choose one of the following magic effects to trigger when you hit 0 hit points once per long rest. You can defibrillate, which allows you once per turn when a creature hits you with a melee attack, you can trigger an electrical discharge. No action required. The creature becomes unable to take reactions till the start of its next turn, unless it's immune to lightning damage, and you can move up to 10 feet without provoking opportunity attacks as part of that. After you move using the feature, you can't do it again to your next turn, and when you're reduced to 0 hit points and not killed outright, you can instead drop to 1 hit point and immediately take an extra turn, interrupting the current turn. If you don't regain any hit points before the end of your next turn, you drop to 0 hit points, fall unconscious, and begin making death saves. So you just have to chug a potion, or use a cure wounds or a healing word or something. In Dissolve, once per turn when a creature within 5 feet hits you with a melee attack, you can squirt them with some acid. The creature takes 1d6 damage. If the result of the attack roll meets your AC and is made with a ferrous, non-magical, non-natural weapon, the acid causes the metal to weaken and you can destroy the weapon. That's cool. When you're reduced to 0 hit points, all of the acid splashes about. Each creature within 10 feet must make a spell save or take 10d4 acid damage and then 5d4 acid damage at the start of each of its turns for the next minute, unless it uses an action to wipe itself clean. In addition, you can melt some armor as well. Entomb, when a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with a melee attack, you can trigger a burst of cold, which is 1d4 and reduces the speed of the creature by 15 feet. These are all like bonus reactions, which I do like as a concept. Also, when you're reduced to 0 hit points, you become entombed in a block of clear ice that has an AC of 15 and 100 hit points. It lasts for a minute or until it's destroyed. While it persists, you have total cover against all effects and you don't make death saves. If you regain 1 or more hit points, the icy block melts, which is cool. And self-destruct. When a creature hits you, you can explode, you take 1 fire damage, and they take 1d8 fire damage. And when you are reduced to 0 hit points, you immediately fail 1 death saving throw, and each creature within 20 feet of you must make a dex save or take 14d6 fire damage on a failed saving throw, which is a lot of d6. So cool stuff. It's then got a list of all the traps. There are lots of them, as you can see. I'm not reading those. You get the vibe. I'll read a couple. Fine. Force my hand. Let's go for Tanglevine. This is a magical one. Requires a first level spell slot. When activated, it creates an effect identical to the Entangle spell within a 20-foot radius centered on the trap for the next minute. Cool stuff. Bewilderment gives each creature in a 20-foot radius sphere must make a wisdom saving throw or take 3d10 psychic damage and become affected by the confusion spell. None of these require concentration on your end, which does make them pretty potent, and it also fixes the Hunter's Mark issue, which is good. Shout out to Heliana's for nailing ranger vibes in 2 of its classes somehow. It's like one of the high level ones. Banisher. When activated, a 10-foot radius sphere centered on the trap flares into life, attempting to suck all creatures into a harmless demiplane. Must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be transported for the next minute you banish them. Very cool. The ranger is... I keep saying this because we keep having cool ranger subclasses in the books I'm looking at. This is awesome. I adore it. I love the flavor of it. I think mechanically it's quite solid. It's certainly pretty potent from a damage perspective, and it definitely fits. I think it fits melee fighting, two-weapon fighting specifically, really, really well. But I think you can play this in a bunch of ways, and I adore that. So yeah, it's good stuff. Next is the sorcerer Skinshifter, as seen in this incredible artwork. Whether it be some distant doppelganger heritage or overexposure to biomantic magic, your body thrums with the potential for change. Though you may try to channel the power into those around you, the magic that inoculates your body is just as likely to change you, transforming you into a myriad of magical morphs. Will you end up with 2 left feet and paper-thin skin, or rake through enemies with toxic claws as spells bounce off your reflective carapace? How cool is that? You get extra spells. Also, it's got the when you gain another sorcery, you can replace the spells with another spell at the same level. But it has to be Biomancer or Transmutation from the Sorcerer, Warlock, or Wizard spell lists. You get Chameleon Skin, Inflict Wounds, Bark Skin, Protection from Poison, Vampiric Touch, Zip It, Freedom of Movement, Frog Skin, Fever Skin, and Greater Restoration. Also at level 1 or at level 3, you get Skin Shift. Immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell with a first level or higher, you roll a d20. If the result is equal to or lower than 1/3 of your sorcerer level, a minimum of 1, roll on the Skin Shift adaptations table to magically alter your body in a random way until your next turn. Immediately after you roll on this table, you can spend 1 sorcery point to extend the duration of the effect to 10 minutes. If the effect calls for a save, it's your sorcerer DC. When you hit 6th level, you can add a bonus to the result up to half of your sorcerer level, which is cool. So you can choose the ones you want, and you will want to choose the ones you want because there's a long list of 30 different features here. You can gain vulnerability to piercing and slashing, vulnerability to bludgeoning and thunder, vulnerability to acid, cold, fire, and lightning. You can get -1 AC penalty to your AC and a reduction in speed, disadvantage on dex saves. You can decrease in size, and then from 9 onwards, it gets a lot more interesting, or at least more beneficial. You can cast the light cantrip with yourself as the target. Probably not relevant. Level 10 is Malleable Visage. It lets you change your appearance as per the Alter Self spell. 11 is you get a natural weapon, basically. You can get tripled jumping speed. I'm going to skip around a bit. Resistance to different damage types. Temporary hit points at the start of each of your turns. Increase in speed, and it allows you to attack twice instead of once on your turn. Your unarmed strikes become magical, and you get a bonus to attack and damage rolls equal to half your proficiency bonus rounded down. Scale Skin, you get extra AC. You get 1d6 as your unarmed strikes instead of other things. You can get Salamander Skin, so resistance to stuff, and you get to deal damage to stuff, and you can reflect spells potentially. Lots of cool stuff. Selective Shift is as a bonus action, you can spend 1 or more sorcery points to magically transform your body for the next 10 minutes. For each sorcery point you spend, you gain 1 adaptation of your choice from the Skin Shift adaptation table, which lasts until the transformation ends. The adaptation must have a value in the d20 column equal to or less than 20 plus half your sorcery level, so the combined total. If you gain a random Skin Shift adaptation that replaces one of the ones you already had, this new adaptation lasts for the duration of the transformation. This nightmare fuel body horror sorcerer vibe it was made for me. Sorry guys, it was made for me. It's just, I love it. I love it so much. Level 14 allows you to spend a sorcery point when you take damage and also use your reaction to gain resistance to that damage types for 10 minutes. You can also gain damage resistance to other ones, which is cool, basically. And then it has potential ideas for what would happen to your skin. You only have one of those at a time, but that changes at level 18, which is you unleash your inner shapeshifter, allowing your body to react to all manner of environmental stimuli. As a bonus action, you can cause a metabolic cascade that transforms your body for 10 minutes, granting you the following effects. All grapple and restraining effects on you immediately end. You gain 6 adaptations of a choice from the Skin Shift adaptation table, and you can ignore any restrictions on which ones you can have simultaneously. You can't use your reactive mutations or your selective shift features You just can't. And immediately after you take damage, you gain resistance to that damage type, and you can sustain up to 3 damage resistances at that time, with the oldest one being kicked out once you gain a new one. This is a fantastic concept for a sorcerer subclass. It's fighting with the Hungering Dark subclass from the Cthulhu by Torchlight as the one I really want to play. I'm desperate to play a sorcerer at this point. I don't know which one I would go for. I guess it depends what the character concept was, but you know, magic going wild is just super fun. So I think this is sick. Good work. Finally, for the subclasses, we have the Parasite Warlock. Interestingly enough, we do have another Parasite Warlock from the Grim Hollow books. This one does things a little bit differently. You have bonded mind and body with a rare and enigmatic being that calls your body home, whether you like it or not. Its origins are unknown. Perhaps it came from a vat of biomantic mute X, the nightmares of an astral projector, or a subterranean pool of primordial ooze. Survival is its watchword, and you are its host. Again, fantastic artwork here. There's so many limbs, just cool. You get Heroism Sanctuary, Enhance Ability, Enlarge Reduce, Haste, Spirit Guardians, Black Tentacles, Freedom of Movement, Contagion, and Dominate Person as your spells. At level 1 or 3, you get a Parasitic Weapon. This has a range of 5 times your proficiency bonus, so it starts at 10 and then it goes to 15 and 20 and so on. It deals 1d12 bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage. It's your choice when you manifest the weapon, but you don't add your ability modifier to the damage of the weapon. And as you level up, you get an extra attack with it at level 5, 11, and 17, much like you would with Eldritch Blast. If you have another feature that allows you to make multiple attacks as part of the attack action, such as extra attack, making any of those attacks each replace one of these parasitic weapon attacks. So you don't really need to take Pact to the Blade for this one, because you already get that. And at level 6, the damage is magical, but that doesn't really apply to 2024. I'd probably just change that into Force for 2024 rules. Also, it specifically states you can't make opportunity attacks with this, because opportunity attacks with a 30-foot reach weapon would be hard to keep track of, and that's very true. Also at level 1, you can use your charisma modifier instead of your strength modifier when making strength saving throws, and as a bonus action, you can manifest your patron or part of your patron as a shield automatically, and the AC of the shield goes up to 3 instead of 2 at level 10. It's so cool. This whole book was just made for me. I adored the first one as well, so it's not a huge shock that I'm enjoying the second one as much as I am, but goddamn. Level 6, you can become a viscous liquid for 10 minutes. As you do, all your equipment falls to the ground and merges into your new form. You can squeeze through space as narrow as 6 inches wide, and moving through difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. You can only do this once per short or long rest. Also at level 6, you can birth Parasite. You can spend a minute extruding an independent piece of your patron, which turns it into a familiar, basically. In fact, if you have the Pact of the Chain, it can count as your familiar for purposes of that, which is nice. It's not bad. It has spider climb. It can fit through things. It's a tiny evil ooze, and it has a 1d6 plus proficiency bonus bludgeoning damage weapon attack. It gets really cool at level 10, where things get a lot more interesting for the ooze. You can either, as a bonus action, explode it, making everyone within range of it, within 10 feet of it, take 4d6 and become blinded if they fail. Or you can attach it to someone, which means that the ooze can no longer move, but you can communicate telepathically with the creature it's attached to, whether or not you share a common language, which is very funky. And whenever the creature the ooze is attached to takes damage, the ooze takes the damage instead. As a bonus action, you can command. The ooze does get fairly decent health for a tiny object. It gets 5 plus 3 times your warlock level, which obviously at level 10 is 35. An extra 35 health is nothing to sniff at all. So yeah, good stuff. Level 14, you get the Virulent Form. This allows you as an action to gain the following benefits for a minute. You grow in size from medium to large. For example, it actually just says for example. So this isn't, if you're a Goliath, you could go up to huge with this, which is very tasty. Or if someone casts Enlarge on you, you could get even bigger than that, which is sick. Kaiju, baby. You gain a number of temp health equal to charisma modifier at the start of each of your turns. Your parasitic weapon damage goes up to 2d8 from 1d12, which is a decent little buff. It's a lot better than 2d6, which Wizards of the Coast seems to think is an actual buff, and it's 0.5 damage difference. It's just not. Your weapon attacks with the parasitic weapon crit on a 19 or a 20, and whenever you take damage for a creature within the parasitic weapon's reach, you can use a reaction to attack that creature. Not an opportunity attack, just a flat-out attack. Very cool. There's also an Eldritch Invocation, which obviously doesn't work for the 2024 rules, because for some reason we don't get those. You'll have to homebrew that if you want to use it. When you score a crit with your parasitic weapon, or reduce a creature to 0 hit points with it, you gain a number of temp health equal to the number rolled on the weapon's damage dice. If you later gain the Pact of the Blade feature, you can gain the same benefit on critical hits scored with your packed weapon. It also says, if you're the GM, consider allowing invocations that have the Eldritch Blast cantrip as a prerequisite to also benefit the attacks that your warlock makes with a parasitic weapon. However, do take this as a pinch of salt. Eldritch Spear extends its weapon's reach by a factor of 2.5 only, not 180 feet. So I really like this. I don't know why you wouldn't just put that in the rules. Maybe it's just too many words, although that doesn't seem to be a problem for the ranger. But I like that note is there. I would definitely let them add their charisma modifier, for example, if they took the agonizing blast, because I think that's cool. And I also think being able to push and pull a creature around with your weapon attacks using this would just be sick. A friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, Stephen, has already said that he will play this the next time I start a new campaign, which isn't a huge shock. This is very much his thing, and he likes a very specific voice I do for these kinds of creatures. So, yeah. That is the subclasses, only getting 5, but pretty much all 5 of them are bangers. So, good work. I adore all of them. A fair amount, to be perfectly honest. The flavour of the last 2 is definitely specifically for me. But the College of Cuisine is very cool. The Hunt Domain Cleric is a fantastic example of how you could upgrade Hunter's Mark. And the Ranger feels like it would be a blast to play as well. So, good job. Let's breeze over some of the other things. I'm not going to go into huge details about all of this stuff, as the video is going to be getting a little lengthy. Lottles are axolotls. They can get 2 adaptations, which can change whenever you gain a level. So you can, get a prehensile tongue that can grab things, or you can get dark vision, or the ability to climb, or walk on walls. Mycelin are these horrifying mushroom dudes, which can take over bodies. They're also based on, you get different things based on the previous creature the creature you're now infesting, basically, which isn't going to be especially well implemented in D&D Beyond. I'm really hoping with the character builder 2.0 we're meant to be getting this year that this stuff will be easier to implement. Same with the lineages. But Ombrask is a shadow plane dude. They get different bonuses based on what they used to be, and they get the ability to steal the voice of things because they can't technically speak. Kin is an ooze. They can turn into a cube. I know, I love it. And Opteran are moths, as far as I can tell. You start off as a little larva and you end up as a beautiful moth, but with a very short lifespan. Awesome stuff. Magic items. We're once again getting a bunch of magic items. A lot of these have multiple rarities. I would definitely give these out with the expectation that they could level up with the players. I adore items like that. They're like my favorite thing. And this one has a thing called Solar Beam. The artwork throughout is incredibly cool. This one is cursed. If your players use it too much, this ends up being what the head looks like, so that's fun. Bunch of mushroom-themed items as well. And also it's got the Monster Hunter Jewel Blades. Do you like Monster Hunter Jewel Blades? I like Monster Hunter Jewel Blades. And I do mean the game. Here we go. Swirling Dervish. Harnessing the power of the blade, you leap over a target, becoming a tornado of lacerating blades. As an action, while you wield both Jawbreakers, you can perform a magically enhanced jump, attacking creatures you pass over. It's sick. We've got a mix of spells from the first book and brand new spells here. There are a few that I want to highlight, but the main one I'm going to highlight is Spark. This is a spell for sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. It does 1d8 lightning damage, and if it crits, the target becomes blinded until the end of its next turn. And instead of going up in damage, you get an extra projectile at level 5, 11, and 17, making this probably one of the best cantrips in the game, and it's nice to see this coming out alongside Eldritch Blast, personally. I am a big fan of this. So yeah, cool cantrip. Good stuff. We then got new creatures, just some awesome thing, including Pygmy Rakshasa, which is just a wonderful collection of words, and some more tar elementals as well. These are very Tales from Elsewhere in their design, right? If you've not done that, Clockworld, it's great. It's also got the Tarask, as you can see, an undead Tarask, animated by Evil Tar. Just wonderful. But that's it for me today. I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed reading it and thinking about it. I am highly inspired, to say the least. I started doing some calcs for the Ranger while I was meant to be sleeping last night. Very normal. I'm very normal. It's a normal people thing to do. Yeah, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It is appreciated. It helps me stay motivated. I'm not going to say it helps me keep the channel going, although I am earning a little bit of money from ads now, which allows me to cover the costs of some of these books, which is nifty. I am barreling towards 1,500 subscribers. I do want to open a Discord. I might make it part of the membership perk. I haven't really decided. If you're still watching at this point, let me know. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff. The idea of moderating a Discord on top of that is quite a bit of stress, but I'll figure it out at some point, I promise. But honestly, the fact that you are still watching this, if you are still watching this, means a great deal to me. I really do enjoy doing these videos, and they're very silly, but it suits me fine. I hope that you're doing well and that you continue to do well, and that you take care and have a wonderful week, and I will see you whenever it is that I next see you. Goodbye.